hate it. That was an abrupt cutoff. It was disgusting, and I hate you.
That's why I did it. Felt really good.
Woke up and chose violence.
Yeah.
What's up, boy?
What up, my dude?
That feels weird. Just to throw out the boy.
Might have to work on that for a while.
What up? I mean, we're still boys. We're still a bunch of
We
idiots.
are still the boys, yes.
We're still a bunch of idiots. I'm James. You're Joe. A little bit less confusing in the next couple of days because we got some sad news. Jimothy's going to be taking a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get yourself right. So, wish him the best. Love you, man.
Yeah, we miss you already, even though we're a minute into this, and we miss you, bud.
Yep.
I do want to say this. Like, this is how the podcast was intended with me and Joe. Jimothy was a very crucial part. He was an accident, a very good accident. And actually, I would probably credit him if it wasn't for him and me meeting him and then Joe, and then we probably wouldn't have even started as soon as we did.
Oh, absolutely. Me and you have talked about this for years.
It's been a minute.
You brought it up to Jimmy, and Jimmy was the man on the mission. He wanted to get it done and get it started. He's deeply missed. I hope things start going better for him. Obviously, we'll still be talking.
Yeah.
But
I love you, Jimmy.
Love you, buddy.
Miss you.
Love you, buddy.
You're no longer a fraud because Joe calls you Jimmy.
Yeah, he's Jimmy. You're James. You're the fucking fraud.
That's fair.
And notice that I said fucking because somebody's got to throw in the quarters.
Yeah,
without Jimmy here, somebody has to do it.
At this point, we're at a free jersey. At some point, maybe when we get to 100 subscribers or something, we'll do a giveaway as a teaser.
I'd be down.
Figure out a jersey for the fans. Kind of a nice fun show today. We'll talk some football, a little bit of basketball. Baseball sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
baseball's depressing. You want me to hit a quick baseball thing?
Sure. Let's start off with the baseball.
Okay. Cardinals have announced they're basically sellers this trade deadline. I don't know if you've noticed teams that are selling or buying or whatever. Cardinals have basically said they are willing to part ways with everybody but Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado and Jordan Walker.
They could use some pitching.
Oh my God. They finally realized that, though, it sounds like, in their last press conference. Finally. Only took a decade and a half under Mo's leadership. Drives me insane. But yeah, I think there's a good chance Jordan Montgomery's gone. I don't know if he has yet. I think there's a good chance Flaherty's gone if somebody deems him worth trading for with his injury history. If somebody thinks they can fix what Contreras is going through this season, somebody wants Paul DeYoung's upside at hitting. I could see a bunch of people moved. They need to completely retool. But they're not at the basement dwellers anymore. They're not. Well, at least last I saw, they weren't in last.
Actually, I was just going to say that, and I remember specifically Pirates, because when the Pirates were in first, I remember saying, yeah, that's not going to last. Like, Pirates going to pirate. And yeah, the bottom three are all within a game or two.
Yep. The Centrals are garbage.
But we're a positive podcast. The Cardinals have the biggest win streak in the NL Central with 5 games straight.
And we're selling.
Well, yeah, but I remember before the Cubs World Series when
Don't use this as a false positive. Don't you dare.
no, I'm just the Cubs sold everything right
Uh,
before they got the pieces. They got Rizzo and Bryant
mhm.
and those draft picks slash the trade to the Red Sox, all that stuff. They got Theo Epstein, which obviously Theo is not walking through that door for the Cardinals because he's doing much bigger things.
Mhm.
But it goes to show you lose an all-time great catcher, your pitching sucks.
It,
Which I know obviously the catcher doesn't pitch,
but
but
he called the freaking games, and my
yes,
God, if this isn't just uh more ammo in the Yachty Hall of Fame's candidacy.
if he's not first ballot, I quit. I don't even
If
like the Cardinals. If
if
he's
he's
not
not
first ballot, I quit.
if he's not first ballot, I'm done with baseball.
Baseball will not even be mentioned on this podcast.
I'm done with it. No more fake practice swings while I'm running the welder at work.
They're gonna turn into golf swings.
Yeah, I was doing that today, and all the kids were looking at me. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, "I'm bored."
You're gonna pull up get the putter. Why don't you just go home? Do good for your home ball.
Watched a movie
uh,
where I saw Shooter McGavin recently. Watched 61. Me and Shay
hmm,
watched that, and Shooter McGavin's in it. She told me it was Tony DiNozzo, and I was like, "No, that's not." Putting her on blast on the podcast right
oh,
now.
do I need to make a banner roast of Shailene?
No. But I don't know. Are there any teams that you think would be buyers, sellers going on right now?
Honestly, if I wasn't looking at the standings right now, I wouldn't even know how good the Cubs were.
Yeah, that's fair. I
uh, so I'm being like, I think the Cubs could be buyers because I mean they have pitching, but like they'll lose games 1-0 because they're not hitting. So just have the Cardinals and Cubs swap players.
I could see Tampa getting some.
Yeah, they have to be a buyer, honestly. Which I found that so funny. So Tampa, I'm not. This happened this year, right? They started off what 26-0 or something like that, really good, or 13-0 or
Well, yeah,
26. Like
26 would be
13.
a lot.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know why. I think I doubled it in my head, but they started like 13-0, 14-0,
They had a crazy run to start.
and now they are not even first in their division.
Yeah, I think they got to be buyers.
They gotta be.
I could see the Braves, but like Braves, just like the top teams normally, I could always see them
Just
buying.
throwing this out there, spitballing. I know we're talking about buying and selling. Um, do you think the AL East could make a change to the playoff format? They all 5 teams have a winning record.
I think it's coming.
They all have 50 wins. Every single team in the AL East would be at worst. They would all be winning the AL Central and at worst in third in the West.
Well, I
That's
I I,
wild.
I think it's on its way to at least add a sixth team to it. But right now
Yeah,
we're sitting at five. Five is a little weird.
because it's got the play-in game.
Yeah, like I could see at least six. Give for top two on each side. Buy, have 2 wild cards or 3 wild cards.
Yeah,
Um, I I think it's coming. If the NFL's adding when they
yeah.
really didn't need to at all,
No,
I
they didn't.
I I just I see it coming in baseball. Um,
I just think that's crazy.
like the NBA has what 22 teams now make it technically, or how many is it?
Well, I don't consider
with
the
the
play-in
play-ins.
play. I don't consider the play-in playoffs, but yeah. So they get the top 6 seeds and then 4 play-in games.
Yeah.
Well, and then they have the one more. It's 10 total teams that make it if you include the play-in.
So 10 on each side, that's 20. There's 30 teams in the NBA. The top 66% make it. That's obscene. That's too much.
Just makes it more of that. I think they were trying to go for the March Madness one and done type of feel, which is it is electric. I mean, the Heat were 3 minutes away from losing to the Bulls, and they ended up in the finals. Like, like it. Sometimes you need that little Cinderella run.
Yeah, So if you don't consider the playing game playoff team, do you consider the playing game in baseball playoff team?
I don't really know if I consider the no, because I think you got the play in is to get to the playoff. It's like what would it be, game 163 if it's a tie in baseball?
Oh yeah.
Like that's not a playoff game, but winner makes the playoffs.
Yeah, but
So
there is a 1-game series in the playoffs, isn't there?
I think they expanded it to 3.
Did they?
It used to be when they added the extra team when it was because it used to just be 4 teams.
Yeah, it used to be just 4.
And they added the extra team, so they do that one. They do that one because when did they do that? 2015, I think the first year. Because I remember
Sounds right.
2015, the NL Central was the opposite of what they are right now. The Cubs, the Cardinals, and the Pirates all had 97 or more wins. That was the year the Cubs beat the Pirates to play the Cardinals. Then they swept the Cardinals. Then they lost to the Dodgers. And then the following year, they won the World Series.
Yeah.
It's ingrained. It's ingrained. So something like I feel like it was somewhere around there is when they started that because the NL Central had 3 really good teams. Like all 3 teams were very good. And that was the Cubs World Series in 2015 was when we finally beat the big brother in the Cardinals.
Yeah. I heard on a podcast recently from a Cubs fan saying that they don't even care about the Cardinals. They're acting like we're like meaningless now. And I'm like, y'all win 1 and suddenly the Cardinals are meaningless?
Hey, it's just how fandom works. Most recent is all that matters.
Jesus.
Right? I mean, that's that. Being a Cowboys fan, that's all I hear about. Most recent, well, all that matters. Yeah, the Cowboys have 5, but we won 1 3 years ago. Like, shut up. Like,
Jesus.
That's what sports have taught me. The most recent one matters. It doesn't matter. So as of right now, the Patriots have 6 Super Bowl rings. Doesn't matter.
Everybody just needs to adopt my belief. If it happened in your lifetime, you're good. Only worry about what happened in your lifetime for sports. You weren't a fan of the team prior to that. You couldn't have been. You literally could not have been.
You weren't a thought.
Yeah, you could not have been a fan before you were alive. Well, it only matters in your life.
I'm glad that the Cowboys have won 3 in my lifetime.
See? I'm glad the Broncos have won 3 in my lifetime.
And the Heat have won 3 in my lifetime.
Same.
The Cubs have won 1 in my lifetime. It's just 1. That's all that matters.
You're making me think back to the night. I think the Cards have only won 2.
But for a while there, it was like Giants, Cardinals, like back and forth who was going to the World Series for a minute there.
I think the Cardinals have only won 2.
Back in those Ted Lincecum days with the Giants. Holy throwback.
I think it's just the Waino rookie year series and
the freeze
where Waino. So no, we had Roland. My screen went black. There we go.
No, I meant the freeze series.
Well, that was the other one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think.
Well, I think this is our new record for most talked about baseball on the pod.
But now I'm thinking, I'm like, did the Cardinals win another one? I don't know. If they did, then I'm at 3 on all of my 4 major sports teams, which is very weird that it's all at 3.
Not the Avalanche.
Yeah,
They won 3 last time?
yeah. Like
Wow.
96, 2001, and then the past year.
Well, my hockey team is 1-2 that I know of.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
fair.
it's in my lifetime, but I was not a fan of them.
Well, if we're including that, then the 96 one wouldn't count for the Avs, and I'd be at 2 for the Avs because I was definitely not a fan of the Avs in the first one.
Yeah. Well, that was talking hockey.
Yeah, it was.
Which, by the way, you know what made me feel really, really depressed today? Not really depressed, but I'm gonna draw a blank on his name. It's Cade.
Cade.
Connor Bedard.
Connor Bedard. Okay, yeah.
Connor Bedard. He just turned 18.
Yeah,
and he just signed a contract with the Blackhawks today.
Yeah, I'm going to one up you by what is that, Miller for the Hornets in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
His GOAT is Paul George, and it's because he remembered watching Paul George as a young child against the Heat, nearly beat them. And I'm just like, bruh, I was old when that happened. What do you mean? You were just a young boy.
Old today. This is a good moment for this. You know, what made me feel really old today. Someone at work was singing a song, and then that made it the beat kind of like vibed with me a little bit. So then I started singing "I'm a Believer," and then they looked at me and said, "If you ain't seen Shrek, you ain't about that." And I was like, you know how old I was when Shrek came out? 11.
Facts.
They looked at me like I was the oldest person in the world.
Oh my God. I had one pretty recently. So one of the guys I work with, he's over at a welding booth near me, and he came over and he asked me to open my Spotify. I opened my Spotify. He typed Escape and decided to play me Pina Coladas and asked if I had ever heard that song. I was like, what do you mean?
Wait, why did he type in Escape? Did he not know is that the name of the song?
Yeah, Pina Coladas.
It's called Escape?
Yeah.
Pina Coladas makes way more sense to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But they're talking about they can escape.
Yeah.
And yeah. But you typed that in, and I'm like, you act like this is like the way he was talking about it made me think like, oh, he's talking like Buddy Holly. Okay, cool, dope. I love some old music. No, man picks Pina Coladas. What? What do you mean?
Well, you know what, Pop? When you said Escape, I thought of Reliant K.
Oh yeah,
that's a great song.
Yeah.
You got Grays yet?
I don't think so.
I'm not there yet. Sorry.
I mean, I'm balding.
And this is man, you've been doing that since you came out with a hairline with no hairline.
You're not wrong.
that baby picture of you.
Oh my gosh.
Your hair is just
show it on the YouTube.
Next week, there's a teaser. So why don't we go ahead and let's talk some NBA stuff, which the only thing I really have is the Heat stuff with Lillard. I don't have anything else really crazy. Just saw that the Heat are pretty much just their package is set. They're not trying to add more, take any away, or anything like that.
Yeah,
they're just waiting for it.
If you want to know on those trades what one is the most likely, think about what one hurts the most, and that's probably the correct answer. Because it's not going to feel good necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll get Dame, which will be great.
Mm-hmm.
But it it's going to have to hurt a little bit in order for it to be a trade that is actually probably completed.
Yeah.
I think it's only a matter of time until it happens, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Because it was circulating that he doesn't he said he doesn't want to play for any other team, that
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't play.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much trade
Not to a different team. They'd have to get
asks.
a three-way.
Yeah. But I know the player we have that's got the best value that we're willing to part with is Hero, and they have, what is it, Arnefee, Arn Free Simmons. I'll just say his last
Oh,
name, Simmons.
Anthony
Yeah.
Simons. Yep.
So, he plays the same position as Hero, so they don't really have a need or desire for him. So a 3-team trade would be the best bet. I've heard some talk of the Spurs and Jazz, I think, or I've read it, that those might be 2 teams that would be interested in getting Hero. The Jazz, mainly because Wade sees potential in Hero. Spurs, they could get a scorer to be out on the outside with Wemby in the inside. Would make some sense. Just I don't know what assets those teams necessarily have to add to the trade to make it equivalent to where Portland would be willing to take the offer. But I think a 3-team trade is highly likely. I worry about everybody saying the Nets. I don't see what the Nets have that they'd be willing to give up.
They just want to get rid of Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but who wants to take on Simmons with that contract?
No, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I feel like it's going to be one of those things that we're waiting this time, and then it's going to end up being like the Hero package with a couple first-round picks, and it's going to be that.
A team that I would kind of like to see be the 3rd team would be New York. I don't know what they could add. Maybe like Mitchell Robinson. But if you could get a 2-man game going of Brunson and Randall, and then have Hero in the wing, I think that would be a formidable team. I don't know what they could offer outside. I don't know if Mitchell Robinson is under contract, if they can offer him. I don't know if Portland would be wanting that. I mean, he's kind of an old school big, like 7'1", 280 kind of bruiser. He's solid, but like, what are you really going to do with that?
So hypothetically, say this trade goes down, however it goes down. Assuming that he obviously aren't going to get rid of their biggest pieces. That's not happening. So assuming with this big 3 of Lillard, Butler, Bam, how big is that window? Considering Lillard's age, which I believe is what, 34?
33, 34. He was a 3-year college, I believe, much like Steph.
Yeah.
At Weber State. I want to say.
This is just the 100% facts pod. We're never wrong. So I'm going with that.
Oh, do you want me to actually look it up? Because I will.
Well, that's what I'm doing, but it's just everything that pops up when I type in Damian Lillard is all the trade proposals.
But I mean, he doesn't win based off of athleticism. So my main concern would be Jimmy, because athleticism wise, how long can he keep up guarding the best player on the opposing team, and putting up 44 minutes a game.
We were both wrong, by the way.
How old is he?
So first off, happy birthday to Damian Lillard on the 15th.
Okay.
He just turned 33.
I said 33, 34.
I felt like he was older though. I think that's what I said too, actually.
You said 34.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Also, it was Bam's birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
And you were right. Weber State. You were right.
Yeah, I got my knowledge.
Now, where did he go? Where did he go to? What year was he drafted? What pick? And obviously, he was in the first round.
Oh, the number that is popping up to me, I don't think is right. He was first round, I think, pick 7. I think the two numbers that are popping out to me are 7 and 9.
One of those is really close. Well, technically, they're both really close, but one is close if you flip it upside down.
6? Yeah. Okay. And what year? God, I feel like he's been in the league for a long time. I'm going to go with 2011.
You're one off. 2012.
Dang it.
You're one pick, 1 year off.
Dang it.
So for argument's sake, I'm gonna look up who was the 7th pick in the 2011 NBA draft.
Dang it.
Yeah, but so anywho, who do you think? How long is their window then? I know you were kind of talking through with it, but how long do you think the Heat's window would be? Because we know they're going to build a good team. They're going to put out a good team with Spo and Riley. There's going to be a good team out.
Realistically, I could see 5 years at latest. Realistically, 3.
Okay, that's fair. And oh my lord, I kind of want to do this for trivia purposes.
Why?
Okay, I'll give you the team.
Okay.
In the year 2011. See if you can tell me who the pick was.
Okay.
And I'll even give you. So this is 2011. This is Kyrie Irving won to the Cavaliers. This is that year. Put you in. And Kemba was taken at number 9. So there's your frame there. So number 7 to the Sacramento Kings.
Number 7 to Sacramento. Willie Cauley-Stein.
Well, that's not who it is, but I'm trying to think of how long he's been in the league. But oh my lord, there's a lot of.
No, Willie Cauley-Stein was AD year, I think.
College. He doesn't have a college.
Emmanuel Mudiay.
No.
To Denver. No, because he went to Denver. He doesn't have a college. And he went to Sacramento. And it's after.
I'm assuming Corin. Because all of the guys I see on here.
Costa Kufos?
No. But some of these names. This is a good draft class. Holy hell. We got Kyrie, Tristan Thompson, Valanciunas, Kemba. Good old Jimmer Fredette was taken before Klay Thompson. The Morris twins, Kawhi, Vucevic, Tobias Harris.
LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul George would have been in that if Kawhi was.
Well, were they not taken in the first round?
I thought those picks were traded for him.
Well,
maybe they were a later pick, or maybe they were like a pick from a different year was traded for it. But I'm pretty sure the pick for Paul George was traded for the pick for Kawhi. I'm pretty sure, not 100%.
Playoff Jimmy was also drafted.
Yeah, pick
He
30.
was, yeah, the last pick of the.
Yep.
So I'll just tell you. I don't think you're gonna get it, but when I tell you, you're gonna be like, "Son of a bitch."
Probably.
Bismack Biyombo.
He went to the Kings? He was drafted to the King. I thought he was drafted to the... Really? Huh.
I mean, at least you knew the name, right?
Biombo.
So he was.
Like 6'9", 240.
Oh, okay. I see what happened. It looks like he was drafted and traded instantly to
Orlando?
Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte. I thought he went Orlando, Charlotte, Orlando. Huh.
Charlotte, Toronto, Orlando, Charlotte.
Oh, he had 2 stints.
So you were technically right. He went from you were backwards, but yeah, and that was NBA talk. So let's go Heat. Get this done so we can actually talk about it. So we know what we're talking about. Yes, we got some NFL stuff. We got some D-Hop news. Signing with the Titans, huge surprise. Man just wanted his payday, really.
Is the Titans the location where wide receivers go to die now?
See, I wanted to say that maybe in recent memory, yes. But Derek Mason went there, and he was pretty good. Kevin Dyson went there; he was pretty good.
Okay.
Like I mean, since Randy Moss, we can say that. Since Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Since Randy Moss, absolutely.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Randy Moss ruined the Titans.
He ruined the Raiders too. Ruined the Vikings too.
And the Patriots.
Yep.
Even though they won like 3 Super Bowls after.
He didn't win one. But
it do be like that.
I don't know. It makes sense. If they're going with Tannehill, they want to have a chance at the playoffs this year. If they're going with a rookie, they need at least some weapons for him to throw to. It makes sense, but I think there are far greater issues with that team than just wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree.
That line concerns me. But
yeah. I agree, but that looks like the man just wanted to get paid. He could have went to the Bills, could have went to the Chiefs, the Patriots. Obviously, were in talk, but I didn't like that fit.
Well, it depends on your term for get paid. Like, where are the numbers released on what he got there?
Yeah, let me pull it up. I just had it up and I took it down.
Because, like, let's say they offer him $15 million, and those contending teams offer him $5 million. I'm not saying that's going to get paid. I'm saying that's not taking the disrespectful offer.
That's fair. 2 years, 34 million.
Yeah. So I was close with 15. He's getting 17 per. So it depends on the money. Like,
it's 15 the first season, and then the next season is the bigger season, and there's incentives in there too.
If it was like a $4 million difference, yeah, he just wanted to get paid. He didn't want to compete, but
yeah,
those teams, it depends on what the other offers were. I'm not
fair.
his agent. I don't pretend to know the inside and outside of the dealings, but whatever floats his boat, I guess. I don't think it was a smart move, but
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's gonna be weird seeing, like, to be in all fairness to Julio, he got hurt.
Yeah. Well,
and then he got hurt in Tampa as well. So
Julio also wasn't the same that final year in Atlanta.
Yeah, like he got hurt in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So there are some caveats. Definitely Randy Moss. So we'll just have to see. Speaking of getting paid, let's talk about who's not getting paid. Not me. Not me. Um, uh, the running backs. There's a big conundrum. Uh, Barkley and Josh Jacobs did not get terms. They didn't sign their franchise tag. I know
Mm-hmm.
Tony Pollard also didn't get a contract, but he signed his tag. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to talk about him. He's going to be on the Cowboys next year.
Mm-hmm. Can I be mad at the circumstances without like being mad at the people?
Yes.
Because if I were a GM, I wouldn't pay a running back either. I wouldn't. It's a bad move. But like it sucks.
Yeah.
They put their bodies on the line. They run right between the tackles and they get beaten.
They beat up. They get beat up.
And it's awful. There needs to be something done, but I don't know what you can do.
Yeah.
I I think the best thing that they could do would be to change the franchise tag to make it skill position players, not position specific.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the best way, but I don't know that actually fixes the problem.
Yeah. No, they're still undervalued. It's just what it is. They'll get their 4 or 5 years out of after the draft, and then a couple franchise tags, and usually 27, 28 is they're just projected to go downhill. Some running backs break that trend, and some don't. Most don't.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I just do you think we're going to see another Le'Veon Bell from
If I
either Jacobs or Barkley? From either or.
I don't know that I can see Jacobs doing it because that was his best season of his career by far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I he's got to put more on tape if he wants actually a really good contract. Saquon, I can see it, and I don't think it would be that bad of an idea because,
He'd rust up.
well, not only that, that Giants offense will be really bad without him.
Mm-hmm. And then like kind of like what Zeke did, because Zeke held out
Yep.
famously too, 3 years ago. And the Cowboys did not look good when he wasn't running the ball.
Yeah.
That was before Pollard and that though too. So it's not
Because like that Giants offense, they are just they're not good. Saquon has a bad rap of being labeled as injury prone. He only really had one injury riddled season where he played like
he
the
was
3 games.
he
Other
was
than
banged
that,
up. He was banged
other
up the season after that, but yeah.
he still played 13. He just didn't play
Mm-hmm.
up to standard of what you
Yeah.
wanted. But like he's other than the 3 game season, he's played more than 13 games every year. He's not injury prone, I would say, but he has that kind of moniker. But he's just a shade under C-Mac as just versatile offensive weapon. He's not really a running back. And like CMC got paid. And you can't tell me CMC's not living up to the contract. Like CMC's awesome when he's healthy.
Yeah.
Saquon's awesome when he's healthy.
I think the thing is that they're more willing to pay the running backs for what they're going to do, not for what they've done.
Yeah.
That's why. Do you know the highest paid running back in terms of salary this year?
Well, if the franchise tag is 10 million, it's got to be probably CMC.
Mm-mm. It's Bijan.
What? No.
Yeah. It was because he did he had a signing bonus or something. It put him at 17 million for the year, and CMC's at 16.
Well, that's a signing bonus. That like if you do the signing bonus, averaged out, right?
Yeah.
The signing bonus isn't really part of the contract. Actually, like
Mm-hmm.
if he were to be traded, it wouldn't be on his salary for the season.
Let me pull it up to get the right. Okay, so that's not pulling the right one because it still says Zeke is on here at number 3 at 15, and he is not making any money right now. But no, I saw his Bijan Robinson. So right now it is CMC at 16 million, Alvin Kamara at 2 with 15, and then it has two players on here that aren't on teams, Elliott and Cook. Let me see his contract real quick. But no, I'm pretty sure it was Bijan. But if a rookie's getting paid that much, but again, that's what you're going to do, not what you've done.
But it's also rookie wage scale. Like you can only get paid so much as a rookie with how the new CBA was constructed. So like, was Saquon making like 20?
Okay, so I see he signed a 4-year, 21 million.
Yeah.
I think CMC. How much is? Then I think I fell a victim of false news, fake news.
Yeah.
Because no, I saw a graphic. It had Bijan as the number 1 paid running back in the NFL.
Yeah. No, because
I was like, that can't be right.
it might be guaranteed money left on the deal. That could have been a thing. He might have the most guaranteed money left.
That might be what it was, honestly. But I mean, but that would make sense if it's not what you've done, it's what you're going to do, and he's a 20-year-old kid who just got to the NFL. And
yeah,
I mean, what did Zeke do when he got to the NFL? What did Barkley do? What did all of these younger guys who were elite in college do when they got to the NFL?
Yeah.
They led the league in rushing. They won the rushing titles. Zeke, the first 4 years of his career was outstanding.
The only way that could truly fix the market inefficiency, in my mind, is to go back to the old CBA where rookies didn't have a set in stone pay scale. But that would also be horrendous for the league as a whole.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a possibility.
The Rams overpaid the hell out of Bradford.
Oh yeah,
and that's what brought the CBA
well,
to what it is now.
Not just them, like the Raiders with Jamarcus Russell.
So the same year, 2007, 2008, and that range.
Yeah. It was just too many straight hits and misses, or swings and misses.
You know what I say? Just instead of franchise tagging running backs, sign them on a 2-year deal, give them 15, 16 a year, give them a whole bunch of incentives. That way, you play them. They're going to play their ass off. They're going to get money based off their yards and touchdowns and stuff like that. It's not hurting your cap. Everybody wins. At the end of the day, the running back's going to be like 20 million a year.
I heard on a podcast that it was reported. So I don't actually know that it's true or not, but it was reported that Saquon got an offer of 2 years, 24 million.
He wanted 15 a year.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yep.
And I'm just like, that is horrendous because if he were to just line up at wide receiver, he'd be the best wide receiver on the Giants. He would be.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the best route. Who?
Shepard.
Is he as good of a route runner as Saquon?
I would assume so.
I don't think he is.
And they just got Hyatt. I think he's going to be good for them.
No, Hyatt is not going to be much. I don't think.
No, Hyatt's the best receiver on the Giants.
No, Saquon is the best receiver on the Giants. Second best might
Oh,
be
Darren Waller.
yeah. Second
Darren
best might
Waller is
be
the best receiver.
no, it's still Saquon. Saquon's a better receiver than Darren Waller.
No, I like Shepard. Shepard got injured last year. Uh, I'm not big on Slayton.
I like
Hodgins
that Hodgins. I
Hodgins
like
is all
him,
right.
but I like him as a third wide receiver.
Yeah, and as of I guess I didn't realize that Paris Campbell was on the. You're joking. This is a joke. This can't be. That's not his real number.
What?
00.
Gross.
Okay,
Disgusting.
it's just listed as 00, but he's number 0. I didn't realize Paris Campbell is on the ended up on the Giants. Holy cow! I thought
Doesn't
Paris
matter.
Campbell was a lot older.
Yeah, he could be any age, and I believe it.
Like it's like Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks feels like he's been in the league since 1940s.
Paris Campbell could be 25. Paris Campbell could be 35. I believe it.
Yeah. No, it looks like they just got a whole bunch of young guys on there for wide receivers. But no, yeah, no, I get it.
Like Daniel Jones might be the fifth best wide receiver.
He might be the fastest.
No, Saquon. Saquon's faster. But Saquon is the only running back because I think I said with Le'Veon that Le'Veon shouldn't sit out. Saquon might be the only person that I will ever support being like, you know what, sit out.
Does this mean he's a free agent?
No.
Is it because they put the restricted print, even though he didn't sign it?
Yeah.
That's so confusing how that works. Because he didn't sign it, they didn't get a contract. I guess, yeah. I guess if they sign it, that means if they don't get a contract, then no, okay, that makes more sense. Because Pollard, they can't negotiate anymore to the end of the year.
Correct.
So Pollard's going to play for $10 million, which honestly,
they can't negotiate.
They can't sign anything. They can negotiate. I thought they can have like an on paper agreement, or verbal agreement type thing.
Maybe.
But I feel like Pollard coming off that ankle injury, $10 million. I want to prove it.
That's great for him.
Take it.
Yeah.
That's where you make the money, anyways. That's what happened with DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence got the franchise tagged and freaking led the Cowboys with like 16 sacks that year, and then got paid. I mean, that's what they're for. The franchise tags to prove it. Which Barkley's already proved it. Jacobs, not so much. But I feel like Barkley has earned money.
So looking at it from the GM side, right? It's like 80% hit rate on drafting a second round running back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have 2 years of franchise tags available.
Mm-hmm.
What I would do is every 3 years draft a second round running back, and I would never re-sign any of them. I'd tag if I needed to.
Get the 4 or 5 years out of them and send them packing.
Business wise, GM wise, it makes too much sense. It's why it's completely awful and why they are being devalued so much is because it's too smart. It's too easy.
I think they're trying to wean out the running backs like they do the fullbacks and just literally just make it a passing league. No run game whatsoever. Like, how many teams have fullbacks right now? 3?
Broncos do.
Okay, 4. I was said Broncos, Cowboys, Niners, Ravens. That feels right.
Dolphins do. I would think every disciple of Shanahan does. I would think.
Oh yeah, disciple of Tom Landry. We talked about it last week. Come on, Joe.
Okay. When I'm saying disciple of Shanahan, I'm speaking of Kyle Shanahan, not Mike Shanahan.
And Shanahan is who to Mike Shanahan?
His father. And when I'm speaking of Mike Shanahan's disciples, they are specifically people who worked directly under him. and learned their offensive ways from him and have a correlation to how they play the football game.
Yeah, and where does Shanahan learn from?
Not from Tom Landry.
No, he learned from what's his face?
Who?
Drawing a blank.
They ran gap scheme. He runs zone scheme. Completely different.
I can't think of his name. We talked about him last week, but it doesn't matter.
Yes, the guy you mentioned did not run zone scheme. He ran gap scheme.
The disciple of Landry.
No, he's not. He switched the scheme.
This is gonna be so much fun. While Jimothy is recuperating and getting his mental, this is gonna be fun.
He went from a gap scheme to a zone blocking scheme. It's completely different.
All right, Joe. Let's move on.
My brain.
I gave you and Jimothy homework. Yes, homework. Unfortunately, Jimothy wasn't able to be here, so you had homework. I asked you to pick a team. I asked you worst first. You said you don't believe any of those.
I pause. I said I believe in one.
Yeah, whoever was in last in the NFC South.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So instead, we switched it. Most likely team to make the playoffs that did not make it last year.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to do this Mount Rushmore? We like a competing draft against each other?
Of the running backs?
No, the playoff bound. And we can see who got most right at the end of the year.
Okay, so what if we have overlaps?
That's why it's a draft. You better have multiple people.
Okay, I got a couple. How do we determine who goes first?
You go ahead.
Okay. Well, I could flip a coin. I don't have a coin. Okay. With my first pick, I'm gonna go with the Lions.
Dang it. If you didn't take them, I was going to take them and rub it in your face that I picked your best friend.
My Detroit hat, I think, is in the other room. I was going to throw it on. The Detroit Lions, and you can tag on with anything that I missed. With what I'm saying. They ended the season strong. They were a Seattle loss away from making the playoffs this past season, which I thought they would. They strengthened one of their weaknesses in the secondary by getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And who's the guy that they signed from the Browns, I think, a corner. And the other thing, we talked about it in previous pods multiple times, the gambling thing. They had some players that were involved in that, and they cut them that day.
Yep.
Like they're showing they're not playing around. Like they're no longer this.
They didn't cut Jameson Williams.
He was suspended. He was only suspended for 6. He bet on college. Like the ones who were suspended for the full year.
Yeah, I know.
They cut them all. They didn't even wait. It was the moment those news dropped, like 2 to 10 minutes later, it was the Lions have released, and that's what it is. So to me, that shows that they're not playing around. Dan Campbell he's the guy. Like I love Dan Campbell. Fell in love with him obviously with the Cowboys at tight end. But I love Dan Campbell. He's the it factor. He's the rah guy who I feel like sometimes you need a little bit of rah. I like Campbell. Is he the best coach?
No. I like him. I also I agree with the pick. It makes a lot of sense with the NFC North not necessarily being the greatest this coming year. They didn't really have subtractions. They had additions. It makes sense to pick them. Some points I will throw the opposite way before giving my reasonings for believing it as well. I don't have a ton of faith in Jared Goff. I don't. He played phenomenally last year. He really did.
Played well enough to people think he's top 8.
Yeah, He's not that. He's not. That offensive line is one of the best in the league, and
Mhm.
offensive lines will do a whole heck of a lot for you.
And Gibbs running back.
Gibbs is young running back. Amon-Ra is great, but other than that offensive line, Gibbs is a rookie running back, and Amon-Ra, I don't know what they really have on offense. If Goff regresses to the average,
Mhm.
I don't think they are a playoff team. But now for the side that I believe with you as well, Dan Campbell, I think he's building a culture. I think we're going to have
Mhm.
sooner rather than later a perennial playoff contender. I think this is a guy like Vrabel has been.
Mhm.
I think it will be a competitive team that is in every game, and they'll just be tough. And you know what? They might be able to do it with Goff. That offensive line is incredible. They have young guys all over the offense. The
Mhm.
defense, they're full of athletes, full of athletes.
Yeah, their defense is. See, the thing is, their defense is full of athletes, but they weren't very good last year. They were allowing like 35 points a game.
Yep.
But their offense was putting up 35 points a game to start.
Yeah. So I could absolutely see them doing this. It's just some of the cautions I would have. For my pick, since I can't go with the Lions because somebody picked the Lions.
Hey, you gave me first pick.
I know. Give me the Jets, man. I know I'm the person who said that spot the real difference between this year's Jets and last year's Packers, and the Packers missed playoffs. Yeah, but last year's Packers, that was a down year for them.
Mhm.
Perennially, the Packers are playoff contenders. There's just a really good chance they make the playoffs. You have Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall coming back from injury, offense rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson. Hopefully a healthier offensive line. Hopefully that defense, however young it is, takes another step forward. Quinnen Williams is the best player on that defense. I don't care what you say about Sauce. Quinnen Williams is better. That's just period.
That's fair.
Sauce is solid. Hopefully he can cut down on the mental mistakes of grabbing hold of people so he doesn't get called for it this year.
Are they mental mistakes, or is that the only way he's good?
Well, I don't know. It might be.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see this year.
So there is another thing that I will say about Sauce. I respect it. I do.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I listen. I respect it, and he's sneaky enough to get away with it. He is. That is a skill in its own.
Coming from the man who literally would stomp on your feet in basketball or poke you in the rib cage, get away with it. Listen, Linda.
You got to find the little things that you can do, and he gets away with it. That is a true skill.
That's fair.
The second they start catching on, like it's on camera.
Yep.
I did the sneaky stuff off camera. He's doing this stuff. He did this. He's doing this stuff on camera. They're going to get the tape. They're going to be able to start spotting it. And I worry about eventually calls coming out that he gets flagged for some of these.
Coaches talk to refs all the time. Hey, watch this, watch that. Like
he is that is an extra skill that he has in his bag of getting away with it.
Yep, I agree.
But for how long does that last is the question that I have there. But that'll be who I go with as my first pick.
Okay.
Do you have any arguments?
Tag on with it. So I had them on my list. So you stole one for me too. There you go. Mine is legitimately the Aaron Rodgers factor.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed happy. He's come out of the darkness and woke up in New York City, the brightest city in the world. So I feel like he's going like we are 1 year removed from his back-to-back MVP seasons. Mm-hmm. Yes, I realize he got older. I realize he looked bad last year. He also had the broken thumb. the things that I do question are because the Jets, they won 7 games last year with the Cougar and Joe Flacco and Mike White. They had 3 different quarterbacks starting. Rodgers put solidity in there, and so I think that alone can get them to 10 wins. Just Rodgers. That's 3. I think that alone gets them 3 more wins. We don't know anything. The only thing that's tough for me is the division that they're in.
Yes, that is the hardest part of it.
And I did actually, they were on my list, but I saw today, which I don't know if you did, starting the training camp, Breece Hall is on the physically unable to perform list, along with Randall Cobb and CJ Uzomah. So just a little bit of offensive weapons that are kind of banged up. Just like
Breece Hall is the only one that's of concern.
Randall Cobb's like 90.
But the whole issue with running backs devalued is that they are kind of a dime a dozen. If you don't have the truly elite ones, you can find them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, I don't really have any gripes with New York, other than just that division. It's the Dolphins.
It is tough, and it's AFC, and
yeah, and then the AFC. Yeah, that's the other part. So if they make it, they gotta win at least 11, 12 games.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet.
It's going to be tough, but I think they should have a favorable schedule. I don't have it up in front of me. They were a last place team. No, they were third place.
Last.
No, they were last place.
Yep.
But they're not going to get first. I don't think they'll get first. But
I don't either.
They should have a last place schedule, so it should be favorable. But we'll see. I don't hate it at all. My second pick, I'll go AFC as well. I can't quit them. I can't quit them. I'm not going to be that guy. The Steelers.
Okay.
That entire team is coming back healthy. TJ Watt comes back. We already know their defense is good. It's like a staple with the Steelers. The defense is going to have playmakers. Minka. They got Patrick Peterson in the secondary. Mike Tomlin's the head coach. Never a losing record. Like now they're going to have a year of Kenny Pickett. Not going to be Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, which they still didn't have a losing record with that. Najee was banged up last year. Offensive line was banged up last year. I love George Pickens.
Yeah.
I love George Pickens.
That is very valid.
And I love the combination, honestly, of Freiermuth, Pickens, and Najee, because I feel like they have that Steeler mentality of the tough guys.
Yeah.
Like TJ Watt's a tough guy, but he's not like the get in your face, raw tough guy. Like, so I'm not, this might be, if I would guarantee a team making the playoffs on my list, this might be the team. If I had to only choose one, this might be that one.
My only concern with the Steelers is that offensive line. That's not a good offensive line by any means. Najee's getting hit basically the second he gets the ball handed off to him. The protections are breaking down nearly instantly. Tomlin's history of not having losing records, go back and look at those offensive lines. They were always really good. I'm telling you.
Helps when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, though, too, with Big Ben.
That does. But also, those were always good offensive lines. Offensive line is, like, if you don't have the truly, truly elite Super Bowl winner caliber quarterback, offensive line is the second most valuable position. It, like, if you are not going to be the best or the second best at quarterback, the next best position to be like the best at is offensive line.
I feel like you got to have like one of those, like, I know tackle is very, very important. I think you can get away with the middle of the pack tackle. I think you need the guy in the middle with the brain that helps set the protections, and because that matters just as much.
Well, it depends who's setting the protections versus quarterback versus center. That is a big thing because quarterbacks can sometimes do that too instead of just the center doing it.
Yeah.
With Pickett being younger quarterback, it tends to be on the center generally there. That was the issue with the Broncos years ago when it was Drew Lock and Lloyd Cushenberry. They had two very young guys that did not know what the hell they were doing.
That's right. That's a great name.
Cushenberry?
I forgot about him.
He's still the starting center for the Denver Broncos.
I know. It just is one of those names that you kind of just like
Mm-hmm.
come out of your mind. Like, but yeah, that's great.
With my second pick, I'm going to go with. I love the offense that he was running last year, Arthur Smith. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. They got the rookie running back. They got Tyler Algier. They got Kyle Pitts. They got everything they need to run this ground and pound mean football. I don't care who the quarterback is. We're just mean. Chris Lindstrom is the second best guard by a long shot. And I say second best by a long shot because ain't nobody touching Zach and ain't nobody touching Chris at second place right now.
Which speaking Zach, did you see he's going to potentially hold out?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I saw it this morning. I was going to bring it up, but there it is right there. I brought it up right there.
And I think that defense has been upgraded this offseason. I think what's the corner's name? He had a down year last year, but he was all pro the year before.
Oh, AJ Terrell.
AJ Terrell. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. Corner.
They also got Okuda and Jesse Bates in offseason.
Yes, I think Jesse Bates is a huge acquisition to that secondary. I think Cleveland will desperately miss him, to be honest.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Is that not what I said?
You said Cleveland.
Oh, same state. Don't matter.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair. Same state, same division, same color schemes.
They're like 20 minutes apart.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it.
But yeah, Bates is really good. And I think Terrell's going to have a comeback. They got Jarrett in the middle. I think that defense will be better. I think that offense will be a ground and pound, and it'll just get them to the playoffs in that weak NFC South.
Yeah, they also got Calais Campbell, who's old but still effective.
Yeah,
and then Bud Dupree.
6'8", 310-ish.
They got some playmakers on this team.
Dude's
so I don't hate it. I think any team we could make the argument for any team in the South other than the Bucks because the Bucks won. But we can make the argument for any team.
Yeah.
So I young team, winnable division. Like don't hate it at all. So my third team. I guess that's also the downside. They're young. So
yeah, and the downside is we don't know what Desmond Ridder is.
But we know what Taylor Heineke is.
Yes.
So
I think Taylor can get that team to the playoffs.
I love Heineke. I'm so glad he's not on the Commanders. Heineke is so exciting to watch.
He's electric.
I loved Kirk Cousins when he was on the Redskins because they weren't the Commanders then. But I loved Cousins, and then he went to the Vikings, and I loved him more because he's not on a rival. It's weird liking a player on a rival team. That's for sure. My third pick, we kind of talked about him earlier. The definition of grit. Give me the Tennessee Titans.
That was my next pick.
Let's go.
If you didn't take him there,
let's go. I'm glad I got that because I wanted to talk about the D-Hop thing. So no, we kind of talked about how it didn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
He could have had Mahomes. He could have had Josh Allen. There was the talks about Lamar, but that was before OBJ. So talks about Dallas, but that wasn't going to happen because Brandon Cooks, all that stuff. There was a lot better quarterbacks and teams for him to go to, but he chose Tennessee. But here's why I think it's a good thing. One, adding D-Hop opens up the run game. Regardless of what D-Hop does, it's going to open up the running lanes for Derrick Henry even more.
Yeah,
they're going to stack the box, but D-Hop can still play. D-Hop.
If D-Hop can get inside release and then cut to the post, draw safety. If he has a safety and the corner on him, that's just one less person for King Henry to deal with.
And King Henry's getting close to that age where he's going to probably not be bruising as good as hard. But he also could be one of those guys who do it till the 35.
Derrick Henry's also 6'3", 250, built like an outside linebacker.
He's a fucking.
I don't know that he ever stops being able to do it.
But it also takes a lot because I know we at beginning of the season, or I guess at the end of the season, they had Robert Woods as their number one, and then he's gone. So we were expecting a big step up for Treylon Burks.
Mm-hmm.
Now he doesn't have to step up like that in his second season.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a little bit of pressure taken off of him, which will he lose some targets? Maybe. But will he also be wide open when he does get the targets?
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe. So I feel like this opens up their offense so much more. And if they're pounding with Derrick Henry, D-Hop's going to get open. Burks is going to get open. I can't say his name. I know it, but I can't say it. Okwano, the tight end.
Yeah.
He's not terrible, like middle of the pack type of tight end, but he's serviceable. It opens up the whole offense.
Yeah, Vrabel will have him coached up enough to where he's gritty enough. It'll be fine.
Vrabel's a good coach. Their defense, I don't know, are top 13. I don't know if they're still top 10, but top 13. They got some playmakers.
Top half, not top 10 is what I would say. Jeffrey Simmons is elite. Byard is still really good.
Harold Landry III, one of the best linebackers in the league. They got some playmakers. They sure do. And we're a year removed from them making the playoffs. We're what was it, 2 years ago where they were the number one seed?
Yeah.
So I feel like.
Well, last year they were on pace for the number. No.
Henry got hurt, and he missed a couple games. I think they started to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, they were number one seed just a couple years ago with Tannehill at quarterback, A.J. Brown as the number one, which obviously A.J. Brown's in Philadelphia. So I don't see a good coach, decent offense, very good defense. That sounds like a playoff team to me.
Mm-hmm. Does indeed. I'm
sorry. The best part about this is I know you're not going to take my fourth pick.
Maybe.
Well, we'll see what you pick. I might surprise you.
So how many rounds are we doing?
Just a Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Okay.
So you got two more teams.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stick in the same division. I'm gonna go with Indy. Okay. I've talked about bounce backs from players, from Aaron Rodgers, AJ Terrell, Jonathan Taylor, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this system, the head coach comes from Philly. He developed a system for Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. If they get that young rookie in there at all, and they start running that sort of offense, and maybe there's a chance that this might become the best running offense in the entire league. If Quentin Nelson can come back, I have no idea what even has been going on with him. Old big boy represent. Dude was, after his rookie year, I thought he was just as good as Zach Martin. And it was because he was just as good as Zach Martin that year before. Mm-hmm. But what has he been doing recently? I have not a clue.
I think he's been banged up. He's been playing, but he's been banged up. So it's been like,
And I think they desperately struggled last year because their two leaders were both not themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard coming back on the defense, I think, is going to be the biggest thing for him because that defense was good up until Leonard was out. They were. Leonard he's one of those few off-ball linebackers in the league that still affects the game. Like there aren't many of those guys left that are like coming up. Like Fred Warner is one of them. Micah, if you consider him that, but Micah's Swiss Army knife. He does everything.
I think they're moving him more to edge.
Yeah, I heard he was switching specifically to edge this year. But like Leonard can do that and do that at an elite level. And I think that'll mean just so much for him. DeForest Buckner, if he gets back to form, that's one of the most imposing defensive linemen in the league. Those young guys on the outside start getting better. Defensive backs could possibly improve. Alec Pierce, another year in the league. I really liked him coming out of college at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could actually take over Pittman's spot as the number one wide receiver. I see potential with this team. I'm scared because of Anthony Richardson because I don't have faith in him. But if anybody were to make it work, I would trust the guy who just made Jalen Hurts work.
Steichen? All right.
Yeah. Frank Steichen. Pretty sure.
Something Steichen.
Because it was Gannon went to Arizona, was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah. I agree with pretty much everything you said, and the scariest thing is the rookie quarterback. But when you are compared as the freak of nature like Cam Newton was, we all know what Cam Newton did his rookie year. So if he's able to do that, take a lead by storm, 100%. Do I think they'll win the division? Probably not. But
it's a weak division is the hope.
It's like Jacksonville and then the others, right? Are they a powerhouse yet?
I don't know that Jacksonville is a powerhouse yet, but Jacksonville is
the heavy favorite.
Yeah, Jacksonville is, I don't know, equivalent to the freaking, I don't know. I got it.
Yeah. So no, I don't mind that same division. I like that, which almost makes me want to pick my last pick from another division that you chose earlier, the NFC South. But the other one wants to really throw you off your game. Can we do some honorable mentions too?
Sure.
All right, we'll do one honorable mention. All right. My last pick is kind of going to be a shot in the dark. Right. And I'm going with the NFC East team. There's only one NFC East team that did not make the playoffs last year.
They were on my list.
Washington Commanders.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about Sam Howell. Not yet. I know he won his first game. I don't think he played very good. But Dak also played like absolute crap in that game. Hard when he turned the ball over. Their defense is stout. I think their defense is very good. Jonathan Allen, Payne, got Sweat, Chase Young, obviously. Very talented up front. They got Fuller in the secondary. He's the better of the Fullers. So I mean, they got that
anymore, yeah.
Yeah, they got that going for him. So Howell's my question mark, but Jacoby Brissett is this team's backup. So if Howell is, I do know what I think of Jacoby Brissett. So I feel like Howell or Brissett, I think they can manage because I think this offense has a lot of weapons. They got Robinson, man, got shot and missed 4 weeks. We still haven't heard from Michael Thomas because of a toe.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel, Jahan
A toe
Dotson,
back in 2005.
before he was drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Curtis Samuel, who he's a gadget player. They put him everywhere. They put him at
I'm,
wing. They put him in the backfield. They put him in the slot. They put him in the
I'm
outside.
as the third wide receiver, even like
Yeah,
they have
everywhere.
they have Jahan Dotson
Yeah,
and Terry. Like
yeah,
Curtis
and
Samuel's
then
is the third option at wide receiver.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got some weapons.
Yeah.
And then if you don't like Robinson, they still have Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they have a good core of people. Logan Thomas
Mm-hmm.
is a very serviceable tight end. I'd probably better than Okokukububu from the Titans. Uh,
I'm
like
I'm about to say something crazy. I'm about to say something crazy.
so, as a Cowboys fan, it pains me to make this pick. But I think the Commanders have a legitimate shot, and honestly, I could see with the NFC East being so weak, all four teams make it.
Yeah.
It's we were literally in that world last year, and I think the NFC got weaker.
Yeah, they did.
So
They
it's
lost
it's
Rodgers.
yeah. So but he didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But like it's just the Commander. Oh, and I didn't even mention the enemy. Like,
Yep.
that is a potential playoff team. Like really, I wild. As a Cowboys fan, I just picked the Commanders to potentially make playoffs.
Yep.
I
And
gotta go
you
shower.
made it so that I have to do what I didn't want to do.
Was that your last pick?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna. Well, okay, but first, side point: the Commanders are a quarterback away, right? Didn't they lose a quarterback to somebody who was a quarterback away? And like, t- t-
They
they
lost. They lost Heineke, and they technically lost Wentz. But like,
no, I was saying Kirk Cousins. They lost
oh,
Kirk Cousins to the Vikings when the Vikings were a quarterback away.
also yeah, you're going back, 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 back,
Yeah.
back. Yeah, no, and actually that actually would have strengthened the running back argument because the way the Redskins treated Kirk Cousins back then is basically how running backs are treated now.
Yep.
4 years, franchise tag, let him go. That's exactly what happened with Kirk Cousins.
Yep. Um.
Which, for those who didn't know, Kirk Cousins was drafted the same year to the same team as RG3.
Yep. Slated to be a career backup, and now he's I don't know.
Got the most guaranteed money ever.
Well, Deshaun
Because
Watson.
but it's his only. He's the only quarterback who's ever got a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah. Um.
Or he was the first. I don't know.
So they were going to be my pick, and they were going to be my pick because I really didn't want to do this. My fourth pick is the Broncos.
Oh, you didn't want to be a homer?
No. I don't think like they were a team I had on the nomination, but when you were saying like worst to first, like there's no chance. They don't have a chance at that. But can I see them make the playoffs? Yeah. They've had the most salary on IR the past like 3 years. They've had completely inept coaching. Don't know when to call timeouts, don't know when to do anything. Hopefully that changes with Sean Payton. It should change with Sean Payton. Hopefully he doesn't try to make a stupid offense that doesn't work for Russell Wilson, that we know doesn't work for him, and then continue to do it for 13 weeks. The defense is solid. I worry about the coaching of the defense. But the biggest thing for me on a lot of my picks was I focused on offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And the Broncos went out and they bought offensive line. They went out and got Ben Powers from the Ravens, the highest graded pass blocking guard in, like, I'm pretty sure the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They went out and got Mike McGlinchey. Granted, haven't fixed the Lloyd problem. That's a little concerning. But we got Cam Fleming, who was projected to get like 12 on the open market, according to like Bleacher Report or whatever does the projections for free agency. Signed him as a swing tackle. He can also play a backup guard, so we could move him to guard and move Quinn Miners to center. He's kind of been practicing at both. So I like the potential offensive line here. I, of course, worry about Garrett Bowles' holdings. Javonte looks like he's ahead of schedule to come back.
Yeah. I mean, you could just make the argument strictly on their defense. Their defense was outstanding. What was the stat? If the offense scored 19 points, they would have been like 13-4 or some shit like that.
Yeah, something wild,
crazy, because their defense was like, I think ended up at the end of the year was second best in the Niners in terms of points allowed.
But, no, the Ram game screwed that. The embarrassment on Christmas Eve or whatever.
I thought you loved Baker.
Well, hey, I'm good with that game. It got Hackett fired. I think they were going to run it back with Hackett this year if that game doesn't happen.
So Baker was just helping you out.
Yeah.
Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner. Let's go, Bake. Yeah, no. I didn't want to pick my favorite team, but
I can't pick my favorite team because they made the playoff.
Yeah, most of my other picks you picked, so I was just like, well.
Yeah, it sounds like I picked 3 of 4 of your picks.
Yeah.
Do you have any honorable mentions? I'll give you if you have an honorable mention, I'll give you that first one. Just one, so you got to be good.
My first honorable mention?
Yeah, if you have just one honorable mention, like, so one that you would maybe.
How much do I have to believe this said honorable mention?
You'd have to. I want you to believe it to the point that you could convince someone who's never watched football in their life that they're gonna make the playoffs.
Packers.
They were on my list. I'm not even lying. I
have less faith in Jordan Love than any quarterback that was mentioned on this. Because what are the chances a team goes from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame quarterback to another? What are the chances?
Hey, if it is, then he's got 3 years to win the Super Bowl. Which wouldn't I swear to God, if the Packers win the Super Bowl in the next 3 years,
careful what you say. Careful.
If they win the Super Bowl in the next 3 years, that means that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up on the Vikings next year. Like, if Aaron Rodgers ends up on the Vikings next year, I'm putting it in the money. If it becomes legal in Florida, I will put a future on the Packers winning the Super Bowl the following year if Rodgers makes it to the Vikings, because history repeats itself. I don't know why. It's weird. But yeah, no. I had the Packers strictly because their defense is still together. For the most part, they got a very good secondary.
Well,
Aaron Jones is going to take up. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are going to take a lot of pressure off of Love too.
Not only that, they drafted 2 tight ends. Which, what is the savior for a young quarterback?
A security blanket, tight end. or
And
slot receiver.
and back to player coming back and valuing offensive line, David Bakhtiari.
That's fair.
I think the Packers mixed Bakhtiari a ton last year, and I think that was the actual reason why they missed the playoffs.
That's fair. That's fair. Joe, I'm seeing some comments, assuming that you're a closet Packers fan.
Oh my gosh, I hate Favre.
Favor.
I hate Favre.
Favre.
I hate Favre.
Breet. Breet Favre.
Also,
but do you love A-Rod?
See, when I read that, right, we're of the age, me and you, where I think of baseball.
For A-Rod, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I don't go to the second sentence. I read it. Loves A-Rod. Baseball. No, I hate A-Rod. He was a Yankee. To hell with the Yankees. Second least favorite team in all of sports behind the Raiders. I hate them more than I hate the Chiefs.
Do you like Texas Rangers A-Rod?
No.
So, Joe, I want you to do this laugh impersonating Shaylee. Go. No, that doesn't mean call her and have her do it.
No, I'm saying she's not actually laughing. She's just typing it. Because that's.
Oh no, I want you to like her actual laugh. Her actual laugh. Is it something like this?
She's actually laughing right now, so I was like trying to mimic it.
Pulls the headset off.
She goes.
I heard that. No, I don't hate it. For my honorable mention is it's got some question marks. But NFC South. Are you any team? I'm gonna go Saints.
Yeah,
I think that's the obvious choice, right?
Well, like they have Lattimore at corner.
Top 5 defense still, at least playmakers wise. But the best defense in that division.
Are they though?
Are they?
I think I'd go with Panthers.
Panthers defense? I can name Brian Burns. Who else is there?
Brian Burns.
Oh. No, I just the Saints is the easy pick. They upgraded at quarterback.
Yeah.
The question marks, obviously, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara with his legal troubles, and if Michael Thomas's toe is better. But Olave, Taysom Hill is a gadget guy now. So if it was Sean Payton, I would be 100% sold on it. If it was still Sean Payton,
absolutely.
But so coaching is the big one for me. For the Saints, Dennis Allen. It's not the same thing as the Shanahan tree or so on. You're either Sean Payton or you're not. You're either Sean McVay or you're not. I know we hear about the branches off of all these players, but it's some you're Belichick or you're not.
Belichick and Payton are off of the Parcells tree.
Yeah, but again, Parcells, you're Parcells.
Yeah. She's mad at my first pick where I picked the Jets. So she's bringing up the Raiders. No, I hate the Raiders. Fuck the Raiders.
Language. Yeah,
She said She said, "Wait, what?" At my picking the Jets first.
Oh, she hasn't been here the whole time.
She wasn't here.
She hasn't been here, so you told on
No.
yourself, man.
That's fine.
Told on yourself.
You played yourself.
She said, no, Shaylee, we picked teams who did not make the playoffs that we thought might. Not would, might.
The Dolphins made the playoffs. They made the playoffs last year. You can't pick them.
We couldn't pick the Dolphins, just like I couldn't pick the Cowboys. But Joe was biased when he picked the Broncos.
Well, listen here. You picked 3 of my teams. You picked 3 of them. I wanted to have the Broncos as a off-brand thing.
Well, also, just because it's just you and me doesn't mean we lose everyone's favorite segment. What are we going for, Joe? What are you feeling like? How about?
I don't know. What are we feeling?
I'll just leave it to you.
So the reason I picked the Jets, you see, is because they now have Aaron Rodgers. They improved greatly at quarterback position. Now, did they sign an awful offensive coordinator? Yes. He's bad. He was our head coach last year. It's not great. It's not great. But you know what? We do what we do. And we pick teams and we stand by our morals. And yeah. Jets going to playoffs. Let's go.
I don't think we've ever made it into the song this far.
I don't either.
But I like it.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I missed you. Oh, you got.
Whoa, hey, using my middle name?
Whoa.
That's unreasonable.
Whoa.
That's unreasonable.
Honestly, and obviously you don't like Hackett, but Rodgers has already been with Hackett. He was with Hackett with his MVP for his MVP season. That's why Hackett was hired by the Broncos. So, I mean,
LaFleur was calling plays.
Yes, fair, but it's just he's already been there with Hackett, so he knows what he's getting. So it's not like. No, that wasn't a slip. That was all caps. You meant that. that was straight. Oh, you meant that. You can't accidentally slip that. Not to mention that you Josephed him. You Joseph. But yeah, so Rodgers knows what he's getting with Hackett, so it's not like a Russell Wilson Hackett nightmare thing. Fill in the blank. Okay, Joseph. And I'll write your name.
Joseph Montana. Joe Montana.
I'm actually kind of sad. We did have a blindside for you, Joe.
Oh no.
We had a blindside draft. We had an anti-draft.
Oh no.
But I'm 100% positive you would have gotten it. But I don't know what he was going to pick. We drafted Taylor Swift songs last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. So it's not a slip. That was on purpose.
Should we see if I can get it based off of your draft?
Sure. Let me pull up my list real quick. If you want, I could pretend to draft for Jimothy.
No.
Okay, just myself.
Just your list.
Okay.
Straight losing my mind.
Okay, so I'll get you. This will be the blind side. I'll just draft my list. I just got to make sure I got my order correct, because obviously it goes very good when it's back and forth with we have the story.
You're bouncing off somebody,
Yeah. So I'm gonna bounce off you.
Okay. All right. I'll try to go with it here.
I'm drafting number 1 overall. Sex. It's a great number 1. Makes you feel good.
All right, so sex, right? Okay, okay.
I should have said we're keeping this at PG, but no, it's too late. I've gone too far.
Bounce offable. Mexico, because I went sex rhymes with tax, Tex-Mex, Mexico. See, makes sense. Now you think about it.
You know what? If I could, I would draft Canada because just why not? You got below the United States. Why not go above it?
Uh-huh.
Instead, what do I want to?
Oh, so it's things we want? Okay, okay. Can I draft the same thing? Sex.
Is that a fat joke?
Maybe.
We don't do fat jokes. Go ahead, and I'm gonna draft home. Just home. It's where we're all comfortable. Home is where the Wi-Fi connects automatically. All the cliches.
House, because a the home is a home, and a house is not necessarily a home, but it's a house.
Okay. Okay. Um, that's not bad. That's not bad. So I've been drinking a lot of monsters lately. I know it's not good for you, but if I had to like a energy drink of choice, I'm going with Rockstar. The fruit punch, actually, that's the best one.
Animals.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Like it. Like it. Like it. See, I knew you were gonna get it with that one. I know you have it now. You have it. I know you do.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna draft ones with multiple words, but I didn't want to because the ones with multiple words gave it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so now that I know that you got it, you're just saving me.
Here, I'll hit screen record, or how do you do that? I need to take a photograph.
Oh, oh, oh. You get a dip in your mouth?
No.
Would you put one in? Because you look really good with something in your mouth.
We need to wrap this up because we need to bring in the next contestant.
Oh, I see him. Here comes the next contestant. Someday, he'll return. I knew you would get it, and I don't even need you to say what it is because I already know you know. You
Yep.
know.
Nickelback.
Nickelback songs, correct. There was one caveat though, and you didn't break it, so that's good. I did say that Hero doesn't count because that was not Nickelback, that was Creed and
Oh.
Stand. Is that what it was? Stand. It was Creed and someone else. It was no, it's not Creed. We also did talk about doing Creed.
She did text her guess, and she got it right too.
But what time did she guess it? because I see she said I think she got it right after you did because I knew you had it. I knew you had it.
32.
It feels good. It feels good. But I knew you had it. Once you picked the something that worked, I knew you had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew Rockstar. My pick was going to be Rockstar or Photograph, which.
Yeah.
But I was looking through
Honestly,
the list.
the home one confused me.
Yeah.
The home one.
I would have drafted legs, but that didn't count. Those are cover.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I almost dropped if today was your last day, but that's a giveaway.
Mhm.
Like so, I had to give it a little bit of hardness for my first draft pick. Because as we all know, S is for the simple D.
E is for the ecstasy. And that's
And
just the spot that you really want.
you know what sex also means? That you're never going to be alone from this moment on.
All right. I think we need to call it here.
You're never going to be so far away.
Asta.
Whoa. Jimothy's not here, and you forget all of this. All right. So we covered some stuff. Next week we can maybe knock out some like teams we think who made the playoffs might miss.
Asta.